Yo,
Yo,
oh,
No,
let's get this correct. That looks like it's crap. Okay, better. How y'all doing,
feeling
good.
good.
Nicholas? I can't hear you. Can you say something?
What are you talking about? Yes, you can.
Okay, good. I can hear you. All right. Good. Cool. Well, welcome to the Target Podcast. Got ourselves a nice little audience here. I got Nicholas, I got Jose, and myself. So sorry for being a little bit late. I have a day job, so that's why I was late. That's why I
And
don't
your
have
timing
any of
is
my
horrible.
cool shirts on or anything. So yeah. But before we get started, how y'all doing today?
You're making it.
You're
We're
making it.
good.
You're making it. Jose, how you doing, man?
Doing good. On my commute home, I drove through the fancy part of town, and there was all this police activity. Apparently, someone was having a nice house party that was so big that they were like needing traffic control. That's how the better half lives sometimes, I guess.
Wow.
That must
Yeah,
be nice.
I was driving through
Respect.
Potomac. If you all are aware of Potomac.
Potomac. Oh, oh. I was hanging out with my friends. They live on the north side of Arlington. So there's the north side of Arlington and the south side of Arlington, and they're on the north side. And I joke about them all the time about um, how they think they're so much better because they live in like the north side of Arlington now, and I'm still on the south side with like the peasants. Yeah. I say that to joke. It's Arlington. Arlington's
Right.
fine.
In your three thousand
Arlington's
dollar
a
a
pretty
month
nice
studio
space.
apartment.
Whatever. Yeah. Also, another reason why I was late too is because I was doing company CVTs. So you know how those are, Jose. Um,
Ah, yes.
and what else was doing? I was also getting the thumbnail ready. I'm also still downloading some content that I wanted to show. I was doing a lot. I was doing the most. So hopefully, some of you guys respect my hustle here. respect respect the hustle that goes into this.
It sounds like you
This
just need to practice. That's what it sounds like, man.
it sounds like I need some help and some dude needs to, to step it up. I'm kidding.
Good.
Um, oh,
Amen.
your
Was
um
it?
your your camera's flipped, by the way, Nicholas, which is fine. Um, I understand it. And there you go. He disappears, but it's fine. All right, cool. Well, welcome to the Targeted Podcast. I think I already gave us some introductions. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be talking huge news, Kanye West. Um, so some news coming out with that, and there's a lot that I want to say about that. I'm sure you guys have your thoughts to say. We're going to be talking a little bit of politics. Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we got something coming up from Mark DeSantis. Well, was it Mark DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis. Ron DeSantis. I said Mark.
Ron
Ron
DeSantis.
DeSantis, right? Um, and then I've been trying to avoid talking like some nerd stuff, like House for Dragging and like She-Hulk because it's a small, nuanced audience. But F it, the last episode was so awesome, so we're talking about it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
spoiler alerts.
I may wait or either. And I thought that was a great. That's a great episode.
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
And I'm sorry, Nicholas, you're delayed again.
Oh Lord.
It's happening. Trying. We tested this before we came on to make sure he's good. Um, but I had to switch the links, and we had a feeling this was gonna happen.
Our executive producer screwed me over. Sorry.
No,
We changed it.
no,
So everything was
no.
just fine.
I showed you how.
It's all Sahid's fault, everyone.
This is really not all Sahid's fault. You need to get better shit.
Honestly, I think that we have to up the budget so that everyone can get nice little audio diffuser and also the microphone that Zahid has.
Right?
I think that's got to be part of the perks, right?
Okay, part of the perks. Who's responsible for that, Nicholas?
So now we're making a plug. If you want to support the target,
Yeah.
so that we
Yeah,
can
you want
actually.
support? GoFundMe page. Get Nicholas better hardware.
Help a brother out. Help
much,
a brother out, man.
much appreciated. But yeah, so big news today. As you guys may or may not know, Kanye West is in a heap of trouble. Well, he's
Is it
been in trouble for,
trouble?
well, I would say it's starting to finally catch up to him. Started to finally catch up with him. So, oh, there's one more video that I need to freaking download too. See, it's all the shit that I'm doing. So, Kanye West has kind of been going on a tear recently, right? He has been just saying a bunch of anti-Semitic, racist stuff, coddling to pretty much the worst side of our society, right? And it finally caught up to him. He actually, and I'll play the video when I get it up. But he actually went on to say, "Oh, I can say anti-Semitic stuff, and Adidas can't, you know, they can't, they can't cancel or get rid of me." And then he repeated, "I can say anti-Semitic stuff, and they can't get rid of me. Now what?" And Adidas was like, "F this," and we're getting ready. We're cutting our ties. So, and I just
Not
read an
only that,
article to, huh?
okay, let me add a little bit of a breaking news. I have to verify this because this is just stuff going out on the Twitter. But
Yes.
apparently, Ye tried to enter the Skechers offices, and he was
I
escorted
heard about
out.
this.
So he's
Yes.
thinking, I'll just go to the next one because someone's gonna want me. But
Yep.
apparently, Skechers is like, thanks, but no thanks.
I can help you
Yeah.
independently verify this right now.
There you go. There you go.
I was just reading this. Verified. Live action verifying right there.
There you go.
So yeah, Kanye has just lost his marbles. And yeah, there's so much to say about this. I want you guys to go ahead and get started first though. Thoughts?
It's
Damn.
about
Go
time.
ahead. Yeah.
About time it caught up to him. And you know what's funny? The first thing I saw after Adidas dropped him was like, oh no, Kanye. Like, I don't care about that. I don't care about this dude's billionaire status.
Yeah, he's now
Um,
only worth $400 billion, $400 million. So
ooh. But no, but what bothers me is that, like, think about what he was saying, like slavery, white lives matter, this type of stuff. I mean, he was talking like a lot of stuff, and nothing really happened, right?
yeah, I want to
Community
get into that a little bit too.
now, oh, drop him immediately, right? And seeing things like that,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously none of it is good, right? But I feel like it's always like this ranking system for some reason, right? And it's like you're cut, boom, boom. But you could talk about another community forever and a day,
yeah,
nothing,
Yeah. What is
right?
the breaking point, right?
yeah,
Certain comments about certain communities don't rise to that level, but when comments are said about other communities, at that point, oh, people take notice, right? That's
yeah,
that. That was actually I was reading an interesting article about just that. It was, I guess, someone's opinion piece about why did it take anti-Semitic statements when there was some clearly wrong and scandalous statements being made about slavery was in your mind and all these other things. And I mentioned that last week. I was like, some of what he tries to say, you're like, well, there's a little bit of truth to it, but he's at this point, it's like he's gone beyond that, right? And
yeah,
we talked a little bit about mental health issues, and it's like, well, we know he's bipolar. We know that he sometimes gets off his meds, but he's been reliably saying this stuff at this point. So, and he could be going through an extended episode, what have you. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of people with mental health issues that aren't racist or at least don't make racist statements, right? And after a while, you really just got to start to think like, this is beyond that. Honestly, I don't necessarily think it's just a bipolar thing. I think part of the aura around Kanye was this his belief in himself and that like cockiness and I mean he literally said that Adidas wouldn't drop him because I think he really honestly believed that. Or that it didn't matter because he could just go to Skechers and they'd want him, and that he turned Skechers into the brand everyone wants.
Nope.
Good luck with that. Trying to schedule
right?
Yeah.
Maybe he could.
I mean,
Maybe he might be so bold to say, I can shoot someone in the middle of Central Park and not get caught."
Yeah, didn't Trump say that?
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
So
No,
maybe birds of a feather stick together.
Yeah, hard pass. Here's the thing with Kanye West. So, and I'm trying to get one more video too, so I can show you guys. So, forgive me for my little lateness here. Actually, I think this could do it. Will this do it? Yeah, sure. We'll try downloading. No, that's not gonna work. So yeah, the thing about Kanye West is that what you said exactly is 100% right. And remember what I said in the last episode? We need to cancel the word like genius, right? And I said it in a more of a tongue-in-cheek manner, but this guy is entitled. He thinks he thinks he can't do anything wrong. He thinks that he thinks differently, and he thinks he's Neo, and we're all stuck in the Matrix, and that he's above all that. I've used this reference before for Kanye. I mean, what's the dude's name
Kyrie.
from Kyrie Irving? Thank you very much. So just to let you know, I'm doing too much right now, right? But it applies to him as well, right? And it's sad and frustrating to kind of see that happen. Like he deserves like all the bad things that's happening to him, of course, but at the same time, I want him to get better, right? And I hope that he gets better. I said this on the last episode, on one of our episodes. He's down a very dangerous path right now. Very dangerous path, which he may not be able to come back from. So I
Here's
do
the
hope.
thing, though.
Yeah.
I think he has. It's just that the way he's communicating it is so off that immediately lost. Like amongst all the other nonsense, like he, in order to become a force, like in the fashion world or in media, there is a smaller group of people who run everything, and you need to become like an established name or brand. Vuitton and these high fashion brands or whatever, and how hard it, and how basically he was told that hey, you're never gonna make it, yada yada. The journey that he was on was like a positive one, right? Because he put himself through fashion school. He did then put in a made his own brand or what have you, right? But
Yeah. Made his own brand. Got his own school. Created a school for himself.
I mean, those are all like great things, right? Messaging about how he felt like he was being blocked. It's just getting lost, right? But if you look at somebody like a Deion Sanders, who I feel like is to the HBCUs, being a coach, and making waves that way, and bringing in like some light into how HBCUs are, etc. Not getting the TV time, how they have to play Power 5 schools they deserve, etc., etc. He's doing it the right way. He has his messaging, and he's getting people on his side. Whereas Kanye is just like, he's got to find a way to. He needs somebody to filter what he's says. I don't think
Yeah,
he's
well,
an evil person or a bad person. He needs a filter. And I was
he needs to get
that when
help.
she was still
He
here.
needs to get
But
help.
he's
Yeah.
gone now. She's gone now.
He needs to get help. I'm gonna play like the video. It's finally like all. So now I can give you guys my 110% undivided attention. I'm gonna play the video of kind of what Kanye West said. Forgive, like I can already tell like the aspect ratio is gonna be bad, but it's not. You'll hear what he said. So it's pretty interesting.
About it, me and Adidas, it's like I could literally say anti-Semitic shit and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
Adidas is ending its partnership with Kanye West. The German sneaker giant says it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech.
So you guys hear that, right? One of the.
You know what that's a perfect sign of, though? That's
Yeah.
megalomania right there.
Yeah.
He's so
that's
obsessed
a
with
sign
his own
of.
power and a little bit of narcissism of like, I am that powerful. I am so, in love with himself and his persona that he's become. That I think he genuinely believes that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He thinks that he can't be touched, right? And this is, I don't know if you've seen this meme online, but this is the classic "fuck around and find out" thing that's happening. So if you haven't, I should have played the. So there's a video where there's an old man saying, "If you want to fuck around 10, you find out 10," or something like that. Nicholas is looking at me like all weird. I don't think you've seen it, but it's fine. All you hip kids know about it, so that's what it's about right there.
Or that other one that's going around saying, "I'm not the one."
Yeah, exactly. No, this guy. Look, I want him to get the help that he needs, for sure, and I think if he goes and gets the help that he needs or starts trying to get the help that he needs, then he deserves all our love and support. Until then, he's going to get all of our animosity. Because you're making your bipolar disorder everyone's problem, right? You're not the first celebrity to have a bipolar. I'm not going to act like I know what it's like to have bipolar disorder or to try to tell you to walk it off. But you're also not the first celebrity to have this. And there have been celebrities that have used that as a tool to empower, to bring light to this disorder, to empower themselves and to other people who may be suffering as well. One of my favorite comics, her name is Taylor Tomlinson, right? She has a whole special on how she found out she was bipolar and kind of what the things that you have to do to kind of take care of yourself and make sure that you're not big suffering, but the people around you aren't suffering as well, right? Great specials on Netflix. You should definitely check it out. So yeah, absolutely. Again, he's headed down a dangerous path right now. And it's not just his family and friends that are affected, but like his livelihood, right? These things are things, they don't end well for people. They just don't, right? So I hope he didn't really connect his genius with his net worth, because that's not what it was anymore. Thanks, Nicholas. What are you doing? Nicholas,
What?
you're repeating. It's echoing on your end. Jose, can you hear this?
I hear the
The feedback.
Nicholas, I can't take this guy anywhere. Jesus. God damn
ladies
it.
and gentlemen. You can fund the GoFundMe. You can buy the equipment to make this a little more streamlined.
And when I say buy the equipment, we mean buy you Nicholas the equipment. Yeah. Hey, buddy.
So I gotta underscore what you said. Like, honestly, I feel bad because mental health, that's one in my family, So I
Yeah.
know what that is. I see a lot of talk about the Kardashians too in the chat there. And I can kind of understand why they decided to separate their ways from Ye, right? Because it is not easy to deal with mental illness. And yeah, we're all seeing this kind of live and in public. I think that's one aspect of it that I feel a little bit of sympathy or almost a little bit of empathy, really. The other part of it was what you guys mentioned earlier. This was a success story. Like the Yeezy brand, he owns 100% of that. He built it from the ground up. It's not like he had a benefactor that made it all happen. So that was a great success story. And look at how it's ending, right? It's ending in tragedy. So it's
Yeah.
almost like Ye's life is one of those. It's almost like that Shakespearean tragedy. You had the hero that was up and coming, and something tragic happened, and we're at that part of that Shakespeare play where everyone dies, right? So it's
Hey,
kind of depressing.
I'm gonna reference I'm gonna reference something that Nicholas will love. The Dark Knight, right? You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? And I think that's kind of what's happening to Kanye right now. Yeah, it's unfortunate of what he's all that he's going through, and again, like this doesn't end well. Like, he's kind of he's gonna find out who his real friends are, and who's not. So we'll see, like, what's going on with that. By the way, sorry, Brian, Brian Beatty, what's up? My buddy Brian's been hitting us up on Facebook for sure. So yeah, sorry about that. Um, like, damn, so you concocting a friend. It's like, what the, come on now. That's supposed to be.
He pointed it out.
What's it supposed to mean? Come on now. No, again, he deserves all our love and support if he's working to help to better himself and help himself. Again, he's finding out his friends are who are really quickly. Even Donald Trump has reportedly said that he's gone too far and that he's crazy. He's saying he's going a little bit crazy. That's his buddy that he was, like, simping on at the White House with, right? So yeah, this is it's pretty bad. I want to play two more videos. So one of them is one of my favorite comics. Is Andrew Schultz. Well, both of them are, and these are like a before and after videos of. He has a very dry sense of humor. I wouldn't say dry sense. He has a very abrasive sense of humor. Very abrasive, right? And that could rub some people the right or wrong way. Well, apparently, because of his abrasive sense of humor, some of his some of his people,
Absolute
fans, yeah, some of his fans, thought that he was like on one side of the aisle of this, and he's not, right? So I'm gonna play that video. I'm gonna comment this on the Kardashian stuff. I disagree. I don't think it's Kardashian's fault. I think they just have shit taste in men. Let's go ahead and play this. One of the multiple videos that I have for this guy. All right, here's number one.
Kanye West, you gopher-faced Deutschbag. This week, Kanye went on a media blitzkrieg. He threw so many stones at the Jews, he's now an honorary general in the West Bank, which is soon to be the only bank that will accept him. JP Morgan actually canceled his account, so the only transaction Kanye is going to have is when Caitlyn drops off the kids. So what exactly did Ye say? Well, Hungry Hitler went on Drink Champs with the most bloated cheeks I've ever seen on a human. The guy looks like a Ninja Turtle just had a root canal and proceeded to spout off more hate than a West Virginia water fountain. He claimed George Floyd was killed by fentanyl. Wrong. Kanye, we have video evidence of a throat getting crushed, and don't worry, Kim's not in it. He blamed the Jews for trying to silence him. Yay, the only Jew that's ever kept your mouth shut was the dentist that wired your jaw. I hear some people saying Kanye did bring up some very strong points. Yes, these points. That's it. Kanye isn't the free thinker he claims to be. He just regurgitates the talking points of the latest pseudo-intellectual leech around him. The only original thoughts Kanye's ever had are Amber, Kim, and Julia. So, is Kanye insane? Selfishly, I hope he is. I'd rather believe this is the behavior of a guy battling bipolar disorder than accept I've been supporting a black skinhead for decades. So my message to you, Chipmunk Cheeks, is simple. Get better. Better friends, better therapists, better perspective on the world, and better meds. And good luck, because you're going to
Yo, that dude. Good grief.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, after his fans caught wind of that video, right? They started attacking him. It's like, oh, you're peddling to Hollywood. Like these are again right wingers. And look, I'm all for all sorts of comment. I'm all for free speech. But at the same time, some people freaking take advantage of free speech. Unfortunately, that's just the mark of it. So I want to play this other video right quick. Let's go ahead and do that. So this is the response to after the video that I played, he got a lot of like negative press. So we're going to play the second video of this.
Anybody who commented on the Kanye thing because they were upset, I just want to let you know that I was wrong for not telling your mother to suck my dick from the back.
Fucking go.
For not telling your mother. No, I mean this. All you fucking Monster Energy gym bros. Your mother and her rickety varicose vein knees. I want her on her knees sucking my dick from the back where her nose is in my ass.
Wow.
This is a guy who does not give a flip. So again,
Clearly.
Wow. So, and I bet you these are the people that complain the most about cancel culture too. The ones that were like giving him grief about like what he said, right? They're the ones that'll be quickest to complain about cancel culture. Again, this guy's a comedian, so and he has a very abrasive sense of humor, which isn't for everyone, right? We have to acknowledge that. But yeah, let's get into the Kim Kardashian part of this, because I know I've had this conversation with Nicholas in the past before. A lot of people think Kim Kardashian may have turned him. I don't think so. I mean, how many of Kim Kardashian's exes, and she's had a few of them, have gone off through deep rails like this, right? I mean, you've seen some bad stuff happen, right? But like Pete Davis, has struggled with mental health, has been open about struggling with mental health, and has done what he can to take care of himself, right? And he didn't go off the deep end, like not like this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really just say that to be a jerk. I really just say that an asshole. I mean, I really just say it for that. I hate that they have a TV show. I hate a lot of things about them, but I mean,
a lot of haterade. That's what it is. It's haterade.
Yeah.
I'm there with you, Nicholas. Like, look, if I was single and I actually could talk to Kim Kardashian and she was into me, you think I'd be like, no. Like, okay, look. Watching her show, when I watched it a few times, I didn't see what the allure was, like personality-wise. Like, I watched when it was Humphreys, and she lost her earrings in the thing, and I was just like, really? But back to the Ye part. He was already crazy before.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real. That the signs were all there before.
Yes.
They got married, they started a family. I can tell you as a parent that, like, yes, having a family, having kids, that drives you a little crazy. I'm a little crazier these days because I've got kids. That doesn't mean I'm gonna be saying anti-Semitic stuff, racist stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think, more tongue in cheek, right? Yeah, Chickman Chinks, by the way, killed me too. But yeah, look, a lot of this has to do with stress level. Maybe that also contributed to his cheek. Maybe he was so stressed out, you TMJ, and you're starting to swell up. I don't know. But I mean, it's not the Kardashians. As much as we all want to joke about it, it's not them.
Yeah.
They're their own specialness.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they like projects, like
They want to fix people.
I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah.
At the end of the day, man. I just hope
Go
he
ahead.
gets enough.
Go ahead, Nicholas.
No, that's all I want to say. I just hope he gets to say about it. Like, I'm done. I hope he gets some help.
I hope he gets some help. I think Andrew Schultz nailed a couple of things there where the pseudo intellectualism, right? And I think a lot of these people that think that they're smart because they sound smart, but that's only because people haven't had a chance to really dig into what they're saying, right? Comes off as stupid, right? And I've made this statement before too. Like false equivalency is one of the biggest problems in our society. But this pseudo intellectualism too is also one of these things, right? And again, people keep making this point about, oh, he made a couple points, a good point, and you have to look at the context of the whole thing of what he's saying too, right? One other thing I want to mention too, before we kind of move off this topic, is kind of where we are in our society. So, on one of the comments on one of these like videos that I posted, right, they're talking about how Kanye West like donated to George Floyd. Oh, by the way, he's being sued by George Floyd's family for what he said. So he made a comment. They say he makes a couple good points. They criticized Adidas because they were once a German company, or they're a German company that supported Nazism, or their former CEO did, or so, or what at some point. Which that's the negative side of cancel culture right there. When you have to bring up something like 50 years ago and which is not relevant today, right? The way I am now isn't where I was 10 years ago, right? And 10 years ago is only relevant if I'm still repeating the same shit now, right? So if Adidas, if what they say about the CEO is true and they did support Nazism during World War II, right? That will only be relevant if they decided not to drop Kanye West, right? And that's something that's the part that we're missing, right? And it almost seems like they get one thing right, these pseudo intellectuals, they get one thing right and a whole bunch of other shit wrong, and people only remember that the one thing they got right, which is just really messed up and stupid. But yeah, that's that. And hear the thoughts from anyone else on this shit. Nicholas is ready. Jose's like,
I feel bad for the man, but
I hope he gets help.
Yeah, I hope he gets help. But he's sleeping in the bed that he made.
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's a tragedy story. Is the thing I keep going back to.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that hustle that he had to build his empire was because he probably did have a lot of things that he had to overcome, and that sense of having to overcome that, I think, has evolved into paranoia
or arrogance, or both.
Arrogance and paranoia, right? And I think he really feels he's a martyr right now. Like I'm sure he's comparing himself to Muhammad Ali, right? Oh, they're gonna cancel me just like Muhammad Ali was canceled, stripped of his title, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure. I would not be surprised if he made some sort of false equivalency like that. He thinks that he's ahead of his time and that he's that pseudo intellectual that like he knows something that we don't know, and that he'll one day be vindicated for it. You know what? Again, I feel bad for him. Best of luck. I hope he gets his help. But I mean, and I genuinely enjoyed his music. I thought he was I had those first few albums and played them nonstop. And question, like it's sad. I'm like, You know?
Yeah. One
But
other
yeah,
thing I forgot.
like,
Yeah,
it is.
one other thing I forgot to add too, and this is alluded to at the beginning of this, and then I'm done. Is it frustrates me that this is when he said the anti-Semitic stuff is when people were like, "Oh no, that's too far," right? And not the White Lives Matter or all the other heinous things. Him actually bullying um, his ex-wife and Pete Davidson. Like, there's a video of him like killing and burying Pete Davidson. Like all this stuff, right? You want to just throw under the guise of I'm an artistic genius, right? All these things they could have done first, but it was the anti-Semitic things that is what ultimately drowned him. And what frustrates me about that is that, like, if you know history, right? People who are Jewish and people of color have the same enemies, ultimately, right? If you think about it, right? If you're a person of color, if someone starts saying some anti-Semitic stuff, like you need to be on alert because you're not far down the totem pole, right? And vice versa, right? If someone says some racist stuff, hopefully, you're someone who is of Jewish descent. Hope you're paying attention because you're next, right? That's how this works. It's amazing how this white superiority thing goes through in tandem, right, with being anti-Semitic and racist, right? So there's something to kind of keep in mind to be and have just some context on. Like again, look at like the way Hitler treated Jesse Owens. Didn't want to shake his hand, right, during the Olympics because he was racist, right? So that's something kind of to keep in mind as well, that we're kind of forgetting. Okay, so we beat the hell out of this topic. I don't know if you guys have anything else to say on this one. Nicholas got me. So we're going to talk our next topic. We're going to talk about Mr. DeSantis, Governor DeSantis, and I'm going to play a video clip on one of his debates. So let's go ahead and play that.
If you look around the country, they do have programs, unfortunately, well, they will take a student, look at their race, say, okay, you're white, you're an oppressor. If you're black, you're oppressed. And think about what that does to a 6 or 7-year-old kid. That's wrong. You're seeing that. You have people that are teaching, and actually his running mate has said this in the past, that teaching the United States was built on stolen land. That is inappropriate for our schools. It's not true. And I'm happy.
Okay.
I love Jose's face.
What is it with this side of the aisle and denialism? just being in fucking denial. Nicholas, this is on you. I have a lot of thoughts to say, but I think it's important that you start off on this one.
So I wanted to start off the segment too, just a general PSA, right? So, please go out and vote. Please, God, please go out and vote. More than just vote in the freaking presidential election. That elects you, but it's the midterm elections. It's the local elections that will have life, man. It is so freaking important. These are the people who are going to be made about your livelihood. And you have somebody out there right now who's sitting there sure that we are not teaching real history in our schools. You know what I'm saying? Jose, you've got kids. That triggers me every time I hear anything. We're still freaking celebrating Columbus. So we're still acting like this country wasn't built on stolen land and, reservation, and talk to them about that, right? Like,
yeah,
the people were literally like almost obliterated before somebody finally stepped in and gave them miles to call home, right? And this it just randomly says these triggering things. He knows what he's doing for his audience, right?
Yeah.
They're going to put your white child out there and call them oppressor, and they're going to put that black a victim. Well, I mean, history says that's child is an oppressor. It means that years back, who looked like that kid were doing those things, and that child. That doesn't mean that child is learning about mistakes in the past.
Yeah.
Came from people in his lineage. When you can't just gloss it over. You can't just gloss it over. I have to learn that my ancestors were brought here and their esteem and their dignity and forced into labor to give credit for any of their accomplishments or what they've given to this country. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Just learn the real history. If I had to learn that with that understanding, then those other children can come up with the understanding that, oh, generations past, yes, your great granddaddy probably owned slaves and fought. You know what I mean? And this is just another thing that, you know, it starts at home too, right?
Yeah.
You can't just count on school. It starts with, if you continue on with this whole, you know, because he's black or because you're yada, then it's never going to end. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So.
My take on that one, this is why I had the reaction that I had. Literally about 2 weekends ago, I decided to watch. So here's a little shameless plug: John Leguizamo's Latin American History for Morons. He actually talks exactly about this, and I was screening it because I was like, oh man, you know what? I kind of want my kids to watch it. They can't watch it. But a lot of the concepts they talk about there. So they talk about, first of all, for Latinos, we're like walking contradictions because we are so mixed with, you know, Spanish blood, indigenous blood, African blood, right? So there's all these things that mix up. So he starts talking about what happened when the Spaniards came here. And the whole, you know, Columbus didn't discover us. There was a whole, you know, group of people that lived here. There were millions, tens of millions of indigenous people in the Americas. And that whole conversation about, well, you know, they were conquered because that Europeans were superior. There's such great concepts that they were talking about. And he actually explained this history that is little known, but he actually quotes books and references them for you to go back and read about like lesser known history that is not taught in the schools. And that's what we're really talking about is, you know, unfortunately, to the victors go the spoils, and to some extent, they get to rewrite history through their lens, right? That's why Columbus discovered America. That's why, you know, the War for Independence, you know, it was all George Washington and all that. And then we start talking, like, even things like, another little plug, Hamilton, right? Starts talking about youth from the Caribbean, right? Things like that. And Civil War, heck, ever since the United States took over Puerto Rico has actually, you know, disproportionately contributed in blood in war, right? Native Americans fought in American wars, right? Even though the land was all these things that aren't talked about in history. And to some extent, I get it. Like, there's only K through 12 years to teach some semblance of world history, but it's about balance. And quite frankly, that comment that DeSantis gave, I was like, dude, even the education that I had, like, taught that what you're talking about is crap. And the scary part, yes, go out and vote. Yes, it's important, but do your research, right?
Yes.
Read up on the candidates, read up on their positions, read up on those issues, and I would say read both sides. That's the problem, is we become so polarized, and so we're looking for, you know, confirmation bias to set in and find stuff that confirms our own beliefs. But I want my beliefs to be challenged.
Yes.
Absolutely. When I had cable, I used to watch Fox News out of curiosity because I would hear what was on MSNBC or CNN or the networks, and I'd go over to Fox, and I'm just like, oh my God, how is some of that stuff, like we know, right? Like,
You're
there's so
better
much.
than me. I can't watch it.
Oh,
Can't watch it.
I used to try.
It makes
I used
me
to try.
laugh, but it also scares me. I'll be honest with y'all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, people believe this stuff.
Yeah, they
And
glue
we
to
were
it.
talking about earlier, there's like a little bit of fact, like yes, the sky is blue, and because the sky is blue, you know, America has
Here's all the other, yeah. Here's all the other bullshit that we gotta like believe in, right? No, that's the thing. That little bit of truth, right? And they want to kind of take that little bit of truth and say and everything else too. That's we talked about this in the last episode, right? With Scientology, right? They bring you into some nice stuff, right? Some little bit of truth about self-improvement, and then they don't tell you that they pray to some god that lives on Jupiter somewhere, right? Which is that's kind of what it is, right? I do want to correct you a little bit. Maybe the Will Actually guy, Jose, on this one. So the reason why there's a Columbus Day, is because it's a couple of things, right? A science fiction author, I forgot his name. I can do more research on this later. A science fiction author like rewrote his like biography, right? And then when Italians were immigrating to America and they were being like discriminated against, right? They used that story and say, "Hey, look, well, this guy discovered America, so we were good, right? Yeah." And like, oh, okay, cool. Let's make Columbus Day and da da da. That's how that happened.
I mean, it doesn't matter how it happened. I mean, yeah, I mean that's a great origin story, right? But it still become like,
yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Thanksgiving, right? The Pilgrims and the Indians had this wonderful feast together. You know, then we have Thanksgiving and the Macy's Day Parade.
It was funny about I was talking to my dad about the school system and how things have changed, right? When he was coming up through school, like they actually had him feeling bad or saw Confederacy in the Civil War.
Yeah. These guys,
the way that the history book was as if the Confederacy was the heroes, the misunderstood in the whole situation, and I was like, "What? That's crazy."
Yeah.
But they're probably all those, right? But if you go back and look at those old textbooks, man, I mean, terrible what you read now. Straight up fiction.
For our viewers, don't ruin Thanksgiving. Let's pretend it's all fine.
War on Thanksgiving.
This is fine.
A war on Halloween. Those are your headlines for Fox News.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, it's frustrating, and that DeSantis clip. The problem, what frustrates me the most about that is that he knows what he's doing. He's lying, and he knows he's lying, right?
Yeah.
And because what he's saying isn't anti-Semitic, no one's really going to call him out, or the proper people aren't going to call him out on this, right? That's what frustrates me the most. You can literally say, "Oh yeah, they're just teaching people here and people there." Typical GOP or like right wing. I'm going to say right wing. Let me not limit it to the right wing. Political discussion where you're just saying, "Oh, well, I saw over here where this guy was getting beat up by a bunch of liberals and da 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 da," right? And that's kind of how it works, right? That's kind of how the QAnon people charge the Capitol, right? Oh yeah, they're trying to steal the election and they're killing babies and this, and someone's gonna feel some type of way and attack. Again, I'm for free speech. We all are, but we have to understand what our speech can do to some people, right? Especially those who are very, very, very gullible, right?
Free speech has consequences, as folks are starting to find out, like Alex Jones.
Yeah. Oh, like Alex Jones. Yep. Fucked around, found out it was $1 billion. Right. Yeah, it's really sad and frustrating just to kind of see this transpire and happen. So Yeah,
I mean, I thought one of the other interesting things about that debate was candidate's name, but he kept asking DeSantis, like, why are you even running for governor, right? Like, aren't you just planning on running for president in 2024? He wouldn't even answer it. He
of
wouldn't even answer
course.
the question again.
I don't
You know
blame
what
him
I
for
mean?
not answering
So,
that question either. I mean, that's fine to me. I'm more along the lines of just you bluntly lying, just literally just saying, oh yeah, I mean that's not true. This land wasn't stolen. Da, da, da. Like again, you don't solve
but he didn't say
problems unless you talk about them.
he didn't say it was inappropriate. See, and that's the issue.
Yo, he
He
didn't say it was inappropriate. He said
tries
it
to
was
say
also
that
not
those
true
teachings are inappropriate.
in his video.
He
He
used
also said it was not
the word
true.
inappropriate too.
Yeah. So like, here's the thing. Like,
But
we don't fix these problems unless we talk about them. That's just the thick of the rub right there. And the fact that you don't want to talk about them is either you don't acknowledge there's a problem or you don't want to fix them, right? So it's either you're insanely naive or fucking evil, right? And I know it's me. That's a hell of a statement to call someone like that just evil, but that's what else can there be, right? When you know there's an actual problem and you're choosing to ignore it, right? You're undermining it. You're trying to override it. You're essentially lying. Oh yeah, we're teaching these kids this and this and this. And like, that's not true. Come on now. And I can't just chalk it up to like him being a politician because some text or some verbiage or some things that are being said are more harmful than others. That's just how it is, right? And what he's saying is extremely harmful. Okay. We're running this for a while. You guys have anything else you got to say on this?
nope.
Politics as usual. I'll be
Like you
honest.
said, do your
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to actually talk about that too. Doing your research. I think Jose a little of this. I hate the term "do your research" now because people do their own research and they discover that COVID is fake or some shit like that, and that's called confirmation bias, right?
Wow.
I say do your research, but do your due diligence, right? So exactly what Jose said, right? Go in and don't look for reasons why your point of view is correct, but also why it could be wrong or where you can be missed, right? For a lot of our episodes that we do a lot of due diligence, right, on this stuff, right? When I was doing the why black people vote Democrat, white people vote, why black Christians vote Democrat, while black Christians do vote Democrat, and white Christians vote Republican, I had to do a lot of research. I had to do a lot of due diligence on that. So yeah, do your due diligence. It's not easy. It sucks. No, it doesn't suck. But like you'll be look for the truth, right? And you'll be fine. You'll be surprised what you find out, right?
And that's the part
thing.
that scares me, right? Like we talked
Yeah.
about, like that video clip is disturbing because he's up in the polls. He's
Yeah.
expected that
Oh, he's gonna win.
governor, right?
He's
And
gonna win.
and that is happening across the board. It is no longer a disqualification to not be informed and to be accurate and authoritative on a particular subject. As long as you're part of the tribe and you're going to promote my beliefs, or you're going to be part of my tribe, you're going to bring power to my tribe, because this is more about, I think, power as opposed to true beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, and I can, and again, if we talk diligence, I haven't done the diligence, I'll be honest on this, but if you look at the talking points that are done to get elected, and you actually look at the legislation and accomplishments that happen, there's going to be a disconnect. I would say there's a stronger correlation to legislation in terms of retaining power, as opposed to like making the tough choices, like unpopular decisions that may cost you the election, in 4 years or in 2 years in the House, but it's the right thing to do for the country. right? And that's part of this polarization. It's part of honestly the two-party system, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it unfortunately becomes a binary decision.
Yeah.
Either you're for this party or you're for this other party. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, a lot of times nowadays, it's picking the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. Well, that's how it's always been. Picking the lesser of two evils, right?
Mostly always been. There's
And
been a third party in the past.
yeah, and that's a good point. So there were times where there were conservative Democrats, and there's still conservative Democrats, and there were progressive Republicans, and you're seeing less and less and less of that. It is definitely becoming more binary. And if you check out that episode, I talk about that on why that is. Shameless plug. Coming from the audience, is it the right thing to do if it would make your party lose power? It's a good question, right? Like for a lot of people, it doesn't really matter what like happens to as long as the party prevails. It doesn't matter if like our government is like in a bad spot. So
George Washington.
you saw this with Trump, right? So yeah.
So George Washington, in his farewell speech, talked about the party system. He was not a fan of parties, and it was because of that. It becomes what do we need to do to make sure our party continues to have power, as opposed to think about what is in the best interest of the country. So it is a tough thing, right? Because look at where we are now, right? You almost have to say, I got to go and vote for this party, not because it's in the best interest of this country, but it is going to maybe deal with a pet issue of mine or with a certain belief system, right? So
yeah, no, absolutely right. You touched on like tribalism. You touched on one thing that was great too, about like a politician not really needing to know their stuff anymore, right? They can just kind of say what connects to people. There's a great movie called Game Change, that talks about the 2008 election, and it's really focuses around Sarah Palin, right? And kind of her rise and how they're trying to get her to be all smart and to know this stuff, and they like, well, fuck this, like you don't need to know all this shit. Just like say a bunch of you betchas and some one-liners and quips, and that will resonate with people as is. So yeah, it's unfortunate of kind of where we are with that. All right, I'm going to bring back Nicholas. So he had to go get his kid, and he has a special guest with him. He is back. And that
here we are.
Here we are. This guy's trying to steal the show. That is who are we looking at?
This
Xavier, right?
is Xavier. Like he said,
he named his kid after the Professor Xavier. Hey, Xavier. Looking at me like,
don't say anything to him.
Guys.
He's like, who that?
So adorable. And I think this might be a great transition to our next topic, which is House of the Dragon. Okay, so just kind of an FYI, guys. We've been talking about Kanye and DeSantis and all this other stuff. Now it's time we talk House of the Dragon. I know a lot of you guys haven't watched it. Get on that. That's all I can tell you.
Sorry.
Get on that, because we're about to talk about it now and we're about to spoil it. So, yeah. And I'm assuming we're all caught up on the series, right?
Yes, sir.
You're good? You're good? No, because does your wife know that you watched ahead? Whoops.
You know, I can tell that's how I know you're single, man, because you do stuff like that.
Hey.
So now when she goes back and watch this episode later, this guy.
Well, hopefully she's not watching the podcast, or maybe she's like already gone to sleep. So yeah, now let's go ahead and talk about this House of the Dragon. Man, like I didn't know I was going to be getting back into Game of Thrones after that shit of a last season on Game of Thrones, like like when Daenerys gets killed. But no, this scene. Let's talk about the last episode first, man. Like, and let me tell you something. I made the huge mistake of trying to eat while watching Game of Thrones, which is the stupidest thing in the world to do. If you ever get into Game of Thrones, make sure you're not eating anything, like at all, like zilp zits nada. And if you tend to throw up, maybe you should go watch Game of Thrones on an empty stomach because, you know, you may see some things that disgust you. And right off the gate, and I was eating Peruvian chicken, and I saw the pregnancy scene. So this is like the third, I think it's like a third or fourth pregnancy that you've seen in Game of Thrones, and they make them gruesome. They make them gruesome.
Yeah.
So starts off, Rhaenyra flies back to I don't know, it's the Dragonstone. Yeah, to Dragonstone, to let Rhaenyra. I hate the names Rhaenyra. It's like it's like one syllable difference, right? To inform Rhaenyra that her father's passed, for number one, and that the Greens usurped her throne, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she started having contractions, right? And it was a tough scene to watch afterwards, right? She calls her boys up to let them know, it's like, look, Damon's out here going straight warpath. By the way, Damon, even though he's super impulsive, I loved him in this episode. Like, for some reason,
Same here.
He's a complete dick. But like this episode, I was like, go Damon, yeah. No, but he also showed why he's not like a good king. Would be a good king. But anyway, yeah. So we cut to the scene of her essentially her aborting her baby, like right there on the spot. She was standing up saying, "Oh, get it out," and like her maidens were like, "Let us help you," and she's like, "Ah, get it out," and then just a splash of blood comes out, and then you see like the fetus of a kid there, and it's very graphic. I also felt like that fetus had scales, and that's been said before about Targaryens actually birthing dragon eggs, right? That was actually made a reference in the first episode when the queen was trying to have a kid. It's like, I suppose like an actual dragon beside me. So it seemed like the fetus had scales, and yeah, that's rough on that. What else? So Damon was just acting a fool. He was like, go ahead, Nicholas.
I didn't notice the scale. Didn't know. I mean, obviously, like there was something off about the kid. I was like, I wonder how many times that's happened in such a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Well, the baby was premature because they said it's not time, right? So
yeah,
the baby was premature and basically I'm assuming was stillborn because it was not viable outside of the womb. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's not going to look like a normal pink bubbly baby.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure I saw scales. I didn't see a tail though. But yeah, no. So Damon, when he heard the news, he was ready to go. He's like, "Oh,
he was like,
it's on."
He was like, "I gotta get organized here." Hey, hello to my little friend, and getting ready to ride his dragon and all that.
Yeah, he's a very capable commander, kinda, not really, but like we saw this in like episode 3 where like he rode off to battle and like he killed one of his people. Like he was like, "Oh, Prince Damien, my savior," and then he just straight kills him because he's all about the smoke. He wants the violence. He doesn't care. He's all about the smoke, right? So yeah, that actually happened. But yeah, you saw kind of how he was ready to go, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of with Damon a little bit, even though Rhaenyra showed she was a stable genius. I know what I said.
Showed restraint.
She's showing why she was the best choice.
Yeah, she's by far the best choice to be the leader of Westeros, right? But yeah, I've talked enough. I want you guys to. I've already kind of gave like the first part. What are some of the things that you liked? What are some of the things you disliked? The acting in this first season is hard. Like if I can only give like the Emmys, they only give like 2 awards, right? One for best male, one for best female. There's a lot of people that could. Well, I think best male. I think you have to go with like Patty, the guy who played King Viserys, right? I think he was pretty good for that whole season. I think he was by far the best character. In terms of best female, Elder Rhaenyra was pretty good. Elder Alicent was pretty good. Young Rhaenyra was pretty good. Like there's a lot that could do that. So, but yeah, I want you guys. I'm done talking. Talk.
Personally, I think she's done like an incredible job. I'm concerned. But yeah, I'm loving this show, man. I think I'm quite as excited about it. But then, I mean, the intrigue and the back, I love it. It's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like how we get to see the boys kind of grown up now, too. What's his name? Not A. Well, Aegon is like
Jacaerys.
worthless.
He's the hot.
Yeah, Jacaerys. And the one-eyed kid, I forgot his name. That guy. That guy is.
That guy became ruthless, man. They made him that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So little. So I don't mind spoiling things for myself. So I watched the episode, but then I wanted to analyze because I know it's based on the books, right?
I read I
So-
saw on Wikipedia some stuff too. Yeah.
The way it went down in the book was a lot more vicious than it went on the
Yes.
show, if you could believe that.
Oh yeah.
So on the show, it made it look like Aemon was like, oops. But in the book, apparently, did he gift the eyes or something and all that? That basically, no, he meant to do all that stuff. And
Yeah. No. Yeah. What you're saying is absolutely right. I want to talk about that scene. Let's talk about that scene.
yeah, set it up.
That scene was all right. So we're gonna fast forward to like the end of the series. By the way, Rhaenyra being a badass, she's my queen at least for now until she goes crazy because you know that's how Game of Thrones works. So yeah, let's talk about that scene. So they go to like what Storm's End, right, to try to talk to like I think was it the Baratheon to lead, and there's Aemon there. I think his name's Aemon, right? Targaryen, right? The one-eyed guy. And this guy just looks evil. Like as fuck. Like he looks evil. Hand behind his back, smirk on his face. He has a lot of pent-up anger because he was always looked down upon, right? They made fun of him for not having a dragon. They gave him the pink dread, right? His brother and the guy that took his eye made fun of him for that, right? So he still holds up a lot of anger. He ends up taking Rhaegar. Let me tell you, that scene where he landed at the castle and you see Rhaegar in the background.
Dominus Rex, like
Yeah. Some Jurassic Park vibes. I was like, oh, what? This is not gonna look good. So he goes, he talks to the guy, he gets rejected. He goes back to his dragon, he realizes Rhaegar isn't there. So he's like, oh shit. So
let's get out of here quick.
Bust his ass
It was
out of
over.
there.
He knew he was dead at that point, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He knew that.
wish, and of course hindsight's always 2020. I wish he everyone knew where he was going to go back to. I wish he kind of like went somewhere else, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
When he's
That- I don't think it's exactly what it worked in this case. Like he was done. Like, dude, the scene where he was flying and he was looking around for the dragon, and then the silhouette of the dragon flying on top of him, like that scene was so powerful. I was like,
He ain't got nothing but a little pup about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Little
Rhaenyra
pup.
said it earlier. He's like, those dragons haven't seen war, right? And Rhaegar is the biggest dragon in the world, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen many wars.
Yes, who's
Yeah.
seen many wars, right? So yeah, he gave him a run for his money, right? A little bit, right?
A little
But
bit.
what they did is that they both lost control of their dragons.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen in the book, by the way. But in the series, I guess they want to try to humanize them a little bit. They also played to the part of Viserys, right? Because Viserys is like, dragons are a power that we weren't meant to control, and you can't really fully control a dragon, right? That's what you said in the first episode, or is it the second episode? And you saw that, right? You saw him was like, no, listen to me. And then Rhaegar is like, no, Rhaegar, listen to me, obey. And then Rhaegar just says, like, Rhaegar gets hit in the eye with the dragon and goes, F this. I'm coming after you. Shoot him up. He's like, no, we ain't letting that pass. But
So
it's
I thought I
crazy.
I thought I was gonna like more than I did. I guess he turned out to be an asshole, right? But like when he went to tame Ray, I was getting respect for that kid. You know what I mean? Because he had the way he had been bullied. He wins like in his dragon, like F this. You know what I mean? Guy who goes and tames like the biggest dragon in the world.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like he's got so much hate in him.
Yeah. He has so much hate in him. And anyone who's good in Game of Thrones doesn't stay good. That's just how that works.
You can't be a fan of anybody in this show.
Yeah, you can't.
Any of these shows.
And which is sad because I'm such a big fan of Rhaenyra, and I know it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen without really be reading ahead. Like I know it's what's gonna happen, right?
I will tell you one thing: for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, you already know what happens if you remember details.
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
read that article, and I just realized it.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was actually told, and that's kind of exciting in a way because it's you know what's gonna happen. It's not gonna surprise you. It's more the anticipation of how is that going to be portrayed.
Yeah. Yeah. And what little nuances too that they're gonna change too. So for example, Rhaenyra in the episode 9, the Green Council, that never happens in the book where she busts open from the bottom and could have like burned the greens right then and there. That never really happened in the book, right? So pretty interesting. I haven't read the book. I just read the Wikipedias of it. Reading what? Yeah, no. Such a great series, man. And I usually don't watch episodes twice, but I actually watched that episode twice. It was that good. Kind of seeing Damon act a fool. Like I love the part where, did you guys catch the scene where they were on the bridge once again, and it was pretty much an exact thing of, I think, was it episode 1 or episode 2? Like almost like exactly the same thing where Rhaenyra flies in on a dragon and then kind of walks past Otto. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Scene, yep.
She walks past Otto Hightower, and this time instead of her going towards like Damon, she like goes towards Otto, but she still shows poise and just lead, right? Like Otto was automatically expecting her to say no, like, no, I'm not gonna take this. Damon was ready. He was like, "Oh, you can have your answer now. give your head and your cock in the mouth. Like what? Let's go now." Which is crazy, but she still shows poise, right? So yeah, she's my queen, at least for now, until she goes ballistic. Which we don't. I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. I haven't read too much. I've read a little far ahead, but like not that far. But I'm pretty sure that she's gonna go lose her shit.
Well, at the end of the episode, they hinted at that, right? As she's walking away, you're not quite sure what that expression is, but
she lost her son.
Yeah,
she lost her son, right? And she turns around and she goes, "Oh,
you
don't effed up, F around and find out, sort of thing." That I feel like that's the theme of this show.
That's the theme of today, right?
Yeah, theme of the day. Fuck around and find out. So they fucked around and they found out, or they about to find out soon, that they're about to go to war. I love how Rhaenys turned around on her too, where Rhaenys wasn't keen on like Rhaenyra being queen, but she saw that she had poise, and was like, yeah, you have this woman's the only person keeping the realm together. Everyone else there wants to go to war. She's actually shown restraint, right? And then Colas sided with her. Was like, okay, yeah, we got this, right? So we'll see how this goes. I'm wondering if
Well,
their
that
son's going to come
required
back.
that required a little bit of convincing too, though. Remember,
Yeah,
Rhaenys had to be like, "Hey, like, no, she's legit." There was that whole little debate, and it's like, no, you know what? We need to side with them, and and that was
yeah,
that reluctance, like, okay, the chess game's playing, you're to my advantage. At this point, no, she's doing what's good for the realm, not
yeah,
just what is going to keep her tribe happy.
yeah, exactly, right? That's what the second she became queen, she kind of knew, okay, what I got to do, like what's best for the realm, right? So she's a great mix between Damon, I think, and Viserys. Again, we'll see how
Yeah.
long that lasts. Like, being her kid just got killed and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see how that works. Man, I can't wait for the next season. Now it's so far away now.
Well, my wife. It's funny because when I watched Game of Thrones, we binge watched it before the last season. So we're just watching it like it was a Netflix show. Da 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 da. Oh, season 8 started. Oh, no big deal. Ha ha! All you people who invested all that time in that, whatever. So we watched this season now, House of the Dragons, and my wife's like, "So when's the next season coming back on?" 2024. She's like, "What? What?" I'm like, "Yeah, look, you got sucked in. Now you're gonna be like everyone else."
Yeah,
We're all
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. What more can we say on that? Yeah. So Nicholas, we're talking about Game of Thrones, and well, obviously we're talking about Game of Thrones, duh. We're talking. Shut up! It's late. Okay.
You don't say. Game of Thrones. Got it.
Well, we're talking House of the Dragon, right? But we're talking about like how Rhaenyra is essentially a good mixture between Daemon and Viserys, at least for now, until
Yes.
they fucked around and they're about to find out. One of her nicknames is called Dragon Queen for a reason. Spoiler for season 2.
I mean, you saw that face at the end of that shit gave me the chills.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I feel sorry for
Absolutely.
him now. Lost her baby boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm curious to see exactly what they're gonna do next. I'm rooting for them, but we know there's gonna be at least 4 seasons of this, so it's not gonna be over by next season.
I'm trying to see what them Starks talking about.
Yeah, we got to see what the Starks are
I want
talking
to see
about.
what all those houses are talking about, right? Because
Well,
everybody.
Baratheon, they already chose
When did
their
over-
side, even though Baratheon has they have some blood with the Targaryens, but I'm curious about the Starks now.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. Favorite moment of the series to you guys so far? It's a thinker.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite moments was man, because I mean, I was following him. I felt bad for him, the way his were treating him, and then he came up, and stole that dragon.
Oh, okay. Amen.
Name. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked the part when the Kingsguard brought Rhaenyra the crown, because she was unsure about if people will follow her, right? if they will kneel to her, and Damon, who's wanted the crown, right? He took it and was like, "Well, shit, it's happening." And he places it on her head and he goes, "My queen," right? And everybody except for Rhaenys bowed to her, which I think is a good thing. And she ended up getting Rhaenys' respect. That was probably my favorite part of the series so far. Outside of that dragon fight scene, which was amazing. So good.
I think the 80s action movie side of me just loves the dragon scene. But I gotta say, aside from the action, the episode where Viserys passes away, the dinner scene, I think in particular, actually, I mean, almost that entire episode, from a dramatic effect, was, I think, really poignant because he came so close to reuniting the family and to squashing the beef, and then in his like dying like mumbleness, he fucked it all up.
Yeah. Well, I would say he fucked it up because they were already planning like the coup before that, right?
True,
Like,
valid point. The coup was coming regardless or not, but
yeah,
I think Alicent had mended, right, and had almost kind of just accepted, okay, Rhaenyra's gonna
be clean.
do what she's gonna do, and again, a little confirmation bias. The whole, Aegon myth, that's what he was uttering, but she didn't know. No one except for those in line for the throne knew about the myth.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Oh, you're talking about my baby Aegon. Oh, my little boy Aegon. Yeah, he's gonna be king, right?" And that, it's almost like that whole comedy of errors or misconstrued message that sparks the big tragedy, right? That we're gonna now see unfold through the rest of the seasons, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was just, I think, a seminal moment in season 1 where like it could have gone either way, and at that point, everything that happened thereafter was just set in motion.
Yeah. He did his best. This is a lot of Viserys' fault too, because he could have made his daughter hand of the queen, his hand, and that would have been it, right?
Yep.
But that wasn't the case. He brought back Otto, which blows my mind. You got rid of him for a reason, right? So you bring him back, and yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, no, good scene.
Speaking of that episode, right? When they're all in there making their case for who should be on the throne, and you hear the door open and the music change, and he walks in, that got me right here.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah. When he walked in, he goes, "I'll
took
sit
a
on the
long
throne." This is the Driftmark throne, right? Who's going to be the heir for the Driftmark? He came. You talking about Viserys when he crawls, like essentially just
and who holds him onto the throne when he stumbles?
Yeah, Damon.
Right, like
Damon.
that's what I'm saying. The power of that episode, the dramatic effect of all that, I was like, wow.
Yeah. They also said that scene was improvised as well. So the actor, I think his name is Matthew, went to help that up. Great scene. Scene. I like the fact that they're Black people. Like, I've never in the show, I've never cared about like the medieval Black people being medieval shows, especially with Game of Thrones, because let's be honest, Game of Thrones, bad things happen to people. So there's definitely gonna be having bad things happen to Black people for sure. We saw a dude get his head taken off.
Remember, it's a prequel, so after House of Dragons, there's gonna be no Black people in Game of Thrones. So
that's true. The Valyrian,
we're extinct.
House Valyrian is in there.
Valyrians.
Yeah. House Valyrian is in there. The House Hightower isn't there. House Strong isn't there. Yeah, a lot of houses aren't there afterwards. So yeah, we're gonna see how this goes, man. No, but I'm excited. I'm happy I was able to kind of talk about it a little bit, especially with some other nerds on here. By the way, we also have one of our highest viewers. Go ahead.
You're talking about a nerdy show and stuff. Do you see the T-shirt I'm wearing today? You've seen this one before. Help me stack overflow.
Oh,
you're our
nice.
only hope. That's like a nervous
That is
teacher.
that's some software humor. If you guys don't mind, yeah.
Two
No
thumbs
software engineers,
up.
yeah, that hasn't heard of Stack Overflow for sure. I need to contribute more to Stack Overflow. To be honest with you, I take so much from it. I never actually contribute to it, which is embarrassing.
Go
But
spread some
yeah,
of your wisdom. Answer a couple of those questions.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about on this episode?
Have y'all watched the new Wakanda Forever trailer, Quantumania trailer? Was there another freaking trailer?
Black Wakanda.
There's Wakanda trailer, Quantumania, um, Black Adam. Haven't watched the movie.
Surprise!
But then
You haven't
credits
watched it yet?
scene is us. But yeah, good stuff coming.
Surprised you haven't watched Black
Good
Adam
stuff
yet.
coming, man.
Yeah. No.
So, I mean, I'm going
Maybe for our next
to, but
we'll focus on that. We'll focus on some of the trailers, and hopefully I'll watch Black Adam by then. I haven't watched it yet. I heard it wasn't that great, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to be that great.
I heard actually it was great for The Rock.
Yeah, well, it was great for The Rock.
If not the biggest, I think it was one of his biggest openings ever. But
Yeah.
like I said last week, it's The Rock, so I was expecting The Rock.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of the thing too. Like, it's The Rock. He's going to be The Rock in this this show. I also heard that the guy who played Dr. Fate,
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, did really, really well in this too. So interesting to see how that works and how it ties in to the rest of whatever DC EU is trying to do. Like, they are very much a mess of a series right now, but hopefully they'll pull it together. Apparently, Flash had the best audience score of all the movies that they've like pre-tested for. So, which is a reason why they haven't gotten rid of Ezra Miller yet. So, we shall see.
Is a psycho. They should have put out Batgirl and not this damn.
Yeah, well, they needed that $90 million tax credit. $90 million tax credit. That's what that's for. All right, cool. Well, I think that's all. We're all talked out. It's 10:30. It's way longer than I expected, but then again, we started a little late. It's fine. Cool, guys. Any final thoughts?
Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote. Yes.
We're all waiting for the next season to start.
Yep. No, go vote. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you chat, you will see. And if it's funny, you will see your comment on here. So, yeah, this is also a running joke of me saying "well," actually.
Hey, one more thing too. One more quick announcement. Actually on Amazon podcast right now too. I just added.
Oh, we're an Amazon podcast, so we're everywhere.
Nice.
So yeah, keep liking our shit, and maybe one day we'll get paid. All right, cool. Well, I'm about to end this stream now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.